Mullins. I'm the conductor of the Studio Orchestra. This is my 34th year of teaching and my 14th year at TSA. I teach instrumental music and band and strings, and I teach career education classes. The piece we're featuring was music from the Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera began as a 19th century novel by Gaston Leroux, and it is full of drama in the literal sense. The music by Andrew Lloyd Webber, that everyone is familiar with, I think brings out this dramatic element in a big way, and I think that's the biggest reason for its enduring popularity. We don't want to have the rhythm of the parts pull apart as a result, so everybody's got to listen back and forth. So at the beginning of Masquerade, which is 176, talk about the heart of the reed. Actual thing. I didn't make that up.
No.
It was a pun. And it has a good heart. That's why it vibrates well. Here we go. 176. Write it in two. You want to make 2-bar phrases minimum. That way it sounds like you're singing with song and not like junior high band.
Play down and down, we can mark it. And we just changed it. That's what we just talked about, right there. 189, down, up, down, up. 189, down, up, down, up. My name's Diana Anderson, and I have been teaching strings at Toledo School for the Arts since the school opened in 1999. And I primarily teach the string classes, beginning, intermediate, and advanced. The main preparation that I had to work on to record this piece was to prepare the string parts specifically in terms of bowings and fingerings to make them the most conveniently playable by high school level students, because this is a professional level piece. One of the things that was really exciting for me with this particular recording project was that, as myself being a member of the Toledo Symphony, this is a piece I've performed hundreds of times, and I know how difficult the piece is. It is not a student level composition. This is meant to be for professional players. And our students were able to incrementally, little by little, learn this piece from the ground up, and it was exciting for me to see them achieve a professional level recording. The main things I had the students do to prepare was to work as carefully as possible on their individual parts, both as individual players and in their respective sections, so that they were bowing together and so that they had matching fingerings.
The reasons I will explain shortly. So I need you to get ready, and I need you to be warmed up so that when we tune, your horn's not cold.
Longer bows? I'm from the East. Yeah.
Open A. Can I check trumpet pitch, please? 10 cents sharp. Good. A little sharp on the open note. Can I hear altos? A little sharp. Okay. Okay. Almost every section has a moment that we want to redo. There's a lot of really nice moments in the whole last 2/3 of the piece. Some of it you think, wow. And then there's an error. So it's those little tiny things that we're going back for. So the kinds of things I noticed were this. Most of the time, when somebody's got to come in an exposed place, that's when we'll get somebody who chips a note, or the entrance isn't quite lined up, or we start to hear pitch differences. So the thing we were talking about in our prep about play your part like it's a solo, that attention to detail and that level of concern over whether or not you get it exactly right is what is going to serve us well. The studio orchestra at TSA is fairly unique from what I can discern, being acquainted with programs in many schools across the Midwest. A studio orchestra was a construct of the music business that allowed the conductors and composers to record music for movies and film scores. So it has a little different instrumentation than a symphony orchestra. Symphony orchestras are meant to play the literature that is accumulated over the last few centuries, and a studio orchestra will play music that is more recent, since the movies and recordings became a popular way to spread music to people who couldn't necessarily see the presentation live. So we have some very non-traditional instruments in our studio orchestra. So in addition to your common woodwinds, brass, and string instruments from a symphony orchestra, this recording had an electronic keyboard in it, had an electronic drum set, it has saxophones, which are not always part of the symphonic orchestra, and we're able to work all of this together so that we had a result that sounded extremely authentic. The music department in TSA has really two big areas where we try to prepare the students for what happens after high school. One, obviously, is teaching them to be good musicians and helping them to prepare for taking the next step beyond high school, whether that's the professional ranks or collegiate study. We also try and prepare all of our students for what the business world is in the music industry, because that's a large component nowadays. Many of our graduates are going to have to be proactive in managing the entrepreneurial aspect of their own careers. So we try and give them a leg up, teach them not only what the basic components are, but give them some hands-on experience. So if we do this on both fronts, the musical front and the music business front, we feel like we're preparing our students to take the next step in a successful way.
The purpose of recording a piece like this is so that students can get the feeling for what it would take to really bring a piece to a professional level and to have the experience of trying to perform a piece without any errors.
Obviously, the students in the orchestra need to be prepped musically, technically, for understanding what the piece is about. Our presentation is a medley of the tunes from the musical. So part of what we did was to prepare the musical score, and another element to our preparation was the movie itself, so that the students understand what part each song plays in the plot. The other large component is the planning on the collaboration end. We had to work with a number of faculty and students at TSA. We have a keyboard player from the piano studio of Mrs. Dowell. We have percussionists from the percussion studio of Mr. Desmond. We are using the audio tech facilities and the audio tech class taught by Mr. McKeever. And we are using the services of students from the film class, Ms. Ahern. And all of this began months in advance so that we were sure not only of everyone's availability and agreeability to entertain the details of the project, but in order to get a timeline that was going to be workable for everyone so that we got a good musical and recording result. We record pieces in a sound studio format because it's good for our students to understand that piece of the music business. Professionals have been recording in sound studios for decades, and it's an important part of the music literature of the 20th and 21st century. So giving our students that experience firsthand is, I think, essential to everyone's education. The other benefit is that we get to document the accomplishments of the students. So at this point in time, we have a snapshot of the skill level and achievement, at least in this particular musical score, of the orchestra as a whole and what they were able to do in terms of their preparation and musicality and understanding of the entire story of Phantom of the Opera.